Today we are going to inquire about what is happiness. Happiness is nothing but a state of mind. We think that external things can make us happy, but in reality, it is inside us. Happiness is inside us. We don't need to add something in us to become happy, but we feel that if we will add this or we will add that, or if we will do this or we will do that, then we can become happy. But external things only bring some changes in our mind because of which we feel happy, but it is for very short period of time. After that time we will become bored from those things as well, and then a new desire will arise in us to do something new, to do something else, to add something else in us to be happy. And this desire goes on and on and on, and there's no ending of it. After some time, you will become bored from everything, whatever you have desired earlier. And then you will realize, was I running behind this thing to be happy? When you will get those things, then you will become more sad. That have I worked this much hard just for getting this, just for getting temporary happiness? Because permanent happiness cannot be can we cannot get permanent happiness from external things. Permanent happiness is there inside us. We just need to realize it. If we can learn to become happy with what is, then we will be happy forever. No matter what will be conditions, no matter what will be the external situation. If we have learned to be with what is, and we have understand how mind works, then we can be happy forever. We can be joyful forever without even demanding any external factors to add in us. Happiness is also related with our energy level. Whenever we are at the highest energy level, if we will observe ourselves at that time, then we will observe that we are happiest person at that moment of time. But when, as we all know that a thought consume a lot of energy. So when we are away from all the conditioning of brain, we are away from all the biasness of brain, we are away from everything. When we become sunya, when we become nothing, when mind is at absolute silence, then we are at the highest energy level. And at that time we feel happy a lot, we feel joyful, we feel ecstasy. So being happy is just about the game of thought. How we think. If we are thinking something negative, we become sad. If we are thinking something positive, we become happy. And if we are not thinking anything at all, we are at complete silence, we are at sunya, then we feel joyful, we feel ecstasy, we feel blissful, we feel happy. So happiness is all about thought. Happiness is all about mind. It is not about external factors. So we should learn to be happy with what is, what we have right now. And we have a lot of things to be happy. We have a lot of things to be happy, which we never pay attention. Like sunshine or sunrise in the morning. It gives very beautiful feeling inside you when sun rises in the morning with all over red redness. Walk in the moonlight when there is moon above your head. There's There are a lot of stars above your head, and you're walking on the ground, observing the beauty of the moon, the beauty of the stars, without any judgment, just observation, just observation. At that time, you feel very blissful, very happy. When you observe birds making different sounds, playing with each other, flying high in the sky without any judgment, when you learn to observe these things, you feel blissful, you feel happy. When you learn to observe plants, when you learn to feel air, you feel blissful, you feel happy. When you learn to be still with no thought at all, when you learn to be still without any movement in the body, when you learn to be fully aware, when you learn to be fully at present moment, you feel blissful, you feel happy, you feel joyful. When you walk on the soil, when you feel the soil, when you walk on the soil without slippers, when you feel the coldness of the soil, when you walk on the grasses, when you walk in the morning on the dew and feel, then you feel very blissful, you feel very happy. When you see plants without any judgment, when you observe children playing, when you observe people without any judgment, just observe, you feel happy, you feel blissful. When you learn to observe your own thought without getting involved in them, as you're standing on the road and all the cars and buses are coming and going, and you're watching them without any judgment. In the same way, when you will learn to observe your thought without any judgment, without getting involved in them, without try to suppress them, when you learn to observe the thought, you feel blissful, you feel happy. When you start feeling the coldness of water in the river under your feet, when you start feeling, when you start observing flowing of river without any judgment, when you start listening chirping of the birds without any judgment, when you learn to see dawn or the morning without any judgment, when you see how life starts in the morning, when you see how animals, birds, plants and people wake up in the morning and life starts without any judgment. When you see children playing in the park, or when you see a small baby playing, smiling, laughing without any judgment, you feel happy, you feel blissful. When you learn to observe yourself, when you learn to observe the air that you are inhaling and the air that you are exhaling, when you learn to observe the functioning of different part of your body, you feel blissful, you feel happy. When you become, when you show gratitude towards everything that you got, when you pay gratitude to the God, when you pay gratitude to the people around you who makes your life blissful, who makes your life happy, then you start feeling happy. When you pay gratitude to the God, whatever He has given to you, whether it is this body, whether it is sunrise, whether it is beautiful sunset, whether it is moon, whether it is earth, plant, fresh air, rivers, mountains, greenery all over in the field of crops, and golden color all over on earth during the season of harvesting. When you observe these things, when you observe people working in the field with singing song, when you start reading the poetry and understand the lines between the meaning between the lines of the poetry, when you start understanding the mindset of the poet when he has written that poetry, when you start understanding people around you without any judgment, just just by being pure observation, just by being pure observation without involving yourself into it, you feel blissful, you feel happy. So when you learn to be what you are, when you learn to be what it is, when you learn to be what is, when you learn to be happy with whatever you have, you feel blissful, you feel happy, you feel joyful. When you learn to be at patience, when you learn to wait for the things, you feel blissful, you feel happy. When you learn to calm your mind, when you learn to keep patience, you feel blissful, you feel happy. When you learn to believe in God, when you learn to give full respect to each everything happening around us, when you learn to believe in God, when you learn to be away from the ego that is there in you, when you learn to abolish or bring to an end your ego, your desire, you feel blissful, you feel happy. When you observe mountains, when you observe valley, when you observe forest, when you observe greenery around us, when you observe flowing of water, when you observe waterfall, when you hear the sound of the nature, when you start hearing the sound of water flowing in the river, when you start hearing the sound of wind or the cold breeze, when you start feeling those cold breeze with open hands, when you start observing the grasses or the trees moving or dancing in the air, when you start feeling the nature without any judgment, when you become pure observation without any desire, without any ego, without anything at all, you feel happy, you feel blissful, you feel joyful. When you start appreciating the work of your parents, when you start appreciating every kind of work that people are doing to make others' life happy, when you start giving respect to the people who are there and trying to keep your city clean, when you start giving respect to the people who are serving the nation, who are keeping us safe, when you start giving respect to the people who are spreading knowledge all around us, you feel blissful, you feel happy. When you start showing kindness, when you start showing gratitude, compassion, and love, when you start spreading love everywhere, start helping people without any ego, without any desire, without being selfish, you feel blissful, you feel happy, you feel joyful. So from now onwards, start living close to nature. Start observing nature with no judgment at all. Start observing people with no judgment at all. Try to be at complete silence. Try to observe your thought without involving in them. Try to spread love, kindness, compassion, and try to help people as much as you can. You will feel blissful, you will feel happy. And be happy with what is, what you have.